Morningstars. Welcome back to week 3 in Miss Morningstar's art room. This week we are going to make jewelry, and I thought I would model what we're going to do. We are going to be making really cool paper beads. With those you can make necklaces, you can make bracelets, you can make earrings. The options are limitless. So what you need before I show you what we're going to do is paper. You can use some of the papers from last week that we used from our collage project. So look through those magazines again. Maybe you have some scraps already pulled out of colorful magazine papers. Maybe you have some regular colored papers from before, or even papers that you have decorated and drawn yourself and you're willing to cut out. The other things that you are going to need are some scissors so that we can cut our beads. We have to use a little bit of glue to attach them together to make sure that they stay in this really cool rolled fashion. And at the end, you're going to need some sort of string or elastic or ribbon to put your beads through. The smaller the string, the better. If you don't have tiny string, you can also use something really skinny like dental floss that will also work as string so that it can fit through the tiny holes that you make on your beads. And we are gonna make a ton. Get ready. Okay, so we are gonna work on making our recycled magazine paper beads. So maybe you have other kinds of paper or plain paper or even glitter paper, but really magazines are kind of my favorite because then you get all these cool multicolored bits in your bead depending on what the advertisement was, or you know what the image was, or it had on the page. So they can get really cool whenever they're from magazines. So we're gonna work on making these. It's pretty easy. I'm excited to show you. The one thing that I forgot to mention before is that it will be really helpful if you have something round to build your bead around. So if you have a straw, whether it's reusable or not, maybe something like the skinny end of a paintbrush, or even just like a regular old pencil or pen, it's really helpful to roll your beads around one of these things. So have one of those handy. So then to make our beads, you actually need a triangle. So here's an ad for some allergy medicine. And we are gonna cut a triangle out of this piece of paper, and it's gonna be long and skinny. So this is a nice straight edge of our magazine, but we actually wanna start with an angle. So I'm gonna take my scissors and cut from the bottom corner up, just to make a bit of an angle. Okay, I'm gonna push that guy off to the side. Now I have an angle on the side, and what I want is for my paper to be wide and then go up and come to a point as it goes up. All right, so I'm gonna start with my scissors a little bit wider down here, maybe about an inch or so, and then I'm gonna cut nice and straight, getting skinnier and skinnier as I go up till I meet the end of my paper at a point. And that's gonna make a really nice long triangle. Now I've made it angled the other way, so now I'm gonna start the opposite. So I'm gonna start at the point at the bottom of my paper, and I'm gonna make it wider and wider as I go up. Now as I get to the edge, now my paper is nice and wide, and now I have a triangle going the opposite direction. So I'm gonna keep repeating. I ended with the wide part, so now I start with the wide part back down at the bottom. I'll make this one even wider. And then I angle up, this time going to a point. Now, depending on how wide your paper is, depends on your bead. I'll show you that in a second. So I'm just gonna keep cutting my paper up. And the cool thing about this is the more different colors and strange things on the ads, the cooler your beads get. So don't worry about what's on it. I might have this lady sneezing in the middle of my bead, but I won't even know at the end. So I'm starting at a point and then getting wider. Okay, so one thing to notice, once I have all of my triangles, some of them are thicker at the top than the other. And the cool thing about this is the thinner the top of your triangle is, that means you will have a smaller bead. If the triangle is wider at the top, you will have a wider bead. I have some over here. Here's a pretty wide one. Or even look at this one. He's super wide. So if you want longer beads, make your triangles wider at the top. Then it's pretty easy. You pick whatever side you want. Ooh, the ad is blue on the other side. Oh, cool. So I'm gonna pick a side. Now I'm gonna take my straw. You can do this without the straw. It is a little bit trickier. It is easier with the straw. So I'm gonna line it up on the wide part of my triangle down here at the bottom. I'm gonna kind of hold it to my straw, and I'm gonna start, let me get a little closer so you can see. I'm gonna tuck it in and roll the paper around my straw. I wanna try to keep it as tight as I possibly can, using my fingers and rolling up, 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 until all of my triangle is all around my straw. Now, when I get to the tail here, if you have your glue stick, get that out and take the cap off. And then you're just gonna get a good like inch or two of the tail covered in glue, and then finish wrapping it around, because that will help to hold your bead all together. And then just give it a hold for a couple of seconds. And then ta-da! Just like that, you have a bead. You can slide it right off your straw, and you have a bead that's ready to go for a necklace. It's that easy. How cool is that? Let me show you again one more time. Piece of paper. This time I want the blue on the outside, so I'm going to put it down. I have my straw right here, and I'm going to take my piece of paper at the wide end of my triangle, tuck it on my straw, get that part tucked into the middle so it's going nice and around just like that, and then I'm going to roll it up. This is the fun part. Now you might see it's kind of going off center here, so I'm going to use my fingers and squish it over to the middle. I want to try to keep it in the middle, just like that. And then the other thing you might have is maybe instead of a glue stick, you have regular glue. That's fine too. I want to show you one thing with these. When you put your regular glue on, if you put a dot of glue there, you roll your little tab into the glue, and you will see it's going to get a little messy because it'll squish around the outside. That's okay. Just roll your fingers around it, and that glue will start to cover the top and the bottom of that paper, helping it stick even more. So just give it a good hold for a couple of seconds, and then it's good to go. And then once I have all those, I just pull them right off my straw. And there's my beads with the holes in, ready to go. From there, I can get my string or my ribbon or my elastic, whatever you want to use. Thread it right through your beads. If they're on a straw, they'll have a nice big hole to thread through really, really easily. And then you can fill the whole thing up. Now, it could be really cool if you use all the same ad. You can get the same colors of paper over and over and over again. You could make an all blue necklace or an all red necklace or bracelet. I can make this one tinier with just a few extra beads here and make a bracelet out of it. Tie it in a nice tight knot. Might need some help with this. And then I have a really cool bracelet. Look at that. Oh, it needs to be a little tighter to fit my wrist. So then you can make bracelets, you can make necklaces, you can make keychains, and all with really cool pattern papers from your magazines. So have fun making all those really cool beads, friends. I can't wait to see your jewelry when you're done. Good luck!